Okay. What's going on, people? It's your boy Brandon Brevon, town host of that show called Sports Plus Life. And you already know what's going down today, bruh. Yeah, so turn it off, turn it all the way off, yeah. All right, how is everybody doing today? Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brandon Brevon Towns. This here is Sports Plus Life, that sports podcast where we talk about all of the hot topics that we need to talk about in sports and discuss life as needed. And as I've been saying for the last 3.5, damn near 4, well, I say about 4 months, a lot of life has been happening more than sports, but it looks like that's all about to change, but for the better or for the worse. We'll get into that in a minute. But I didn't do a podcast last week because last week was my birthday week, and my birthday wasn't until Sunday. How about that? So it was my birthday. Yes, it was my birthday on Sunday. Thank you for the love I just showed myself, because I am the one who puts the sound effects in as well. So, but anyway, I hope everybody is doing good. It is hot, man. Goodness gracious, it has been ridiculously hot. It's just really been too hot for anything. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, like my cousin said, it's Miley Cyrus piss test hot. I mean, for real. It's just Steamboat Willie ass hot. I mean, for real. I mean, goodness gracious, I'm talking about that when you fart and when you do a SBD, you just got to run out, you just got to run in the house or run somewhere away from that because it's just the heat. I mean, that SBD where your booty just be hot and you just want to get in the shower and just sit in a cold tub because your ass was so hot from that SBD. That's how hot it's been outside. I mean, for real. I mean, bruh. I mean, goodness gracious. But I will say this. We went to the beach. My family loves the beach. We love the beach. My kids, they love the beach, and I wanted to stay another day, but, it is what it is. Still, being cautious because of the old punk ass virus that, numbers are spiking up because we're such an irresponsible country. But I might get into that a little later. But anyway, it is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. And I'm like, I almost don't even know where to start, because last week I was tempted to do a podcast because it was a lot of stuff going on, but we'll breeze by some of the things that happened last week, and then we'll go into things that have happened this week. So, without further ado, let's get to it, man. And when I say it is Wednesday, July 22nd, it is, but you guys probably won't hear from this until Thursday, so it is what it is. But anyway, we are on the cusp of a sports restart. Baseball officially kicks off tomorrow. I don't care, personally. And the NBA starts next week. Everybody's in the bubble. We're all working out. But that's not where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the sport that still reigns king over these lands known as North America, and that is the NFL. Now, I'm pretty sure, unless you've been living under a rock, that you know that there will be a name change for the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins. That was announced last week. We don't know what the name will be, the new name will be. We only have speculations. I've heard things like the Red Wolves, which may be leading the way, the Red Tails, honoring the Tuskegee Airmen, the Warriors, I guess to kind of keep the whole Native American vibe going. I remember when I talked about this last show, I said, call them the Natives, so that way you don't have to change your logo. But apparently they're going to go brand new. Don't know, like I said, nobody knows what it's going to be. But let's make this clear. This name change is not happening because Daniel Snyder had an epiphany and it's the right thing to do. He is doing this name change because his bottom line was about to be very, very much affected. I mentioned some of it on last show, which was almost 2 weeks ago. But he had lost. He was going to lose sponsorship with FedEx, Pepsi. Amazon was pulling out. Nike had removed all items from all Washington football items from their stores. Walmart also was removing all of the items. That's almost $1 trillion worth of endorsement dough that would be going bye-bye, because we're in a different time now, a time that we should have been in a while ago, decades ago, centuries ago. And the name, growing up as a kid, I never thought of the name as being a racial slur, because I didn't know, how deep it went. I really didn't even know how deep the oppression for the Native American people went, because we don't learn that in school here in America. We don't. We're made to think that the settlers who came back in the 15 and 1600 were these great, noble, courageous, great men who came and started a country and had a little beef with the Native Americans or Indians, but they got over it over Thanksgiving dinner, Pocahontas and John Rolfe and all of that bullshit. We didn't know that this country was taken by force, that the Indians were robbed naked of a land that was theirs first. Nobody educates us or likes to tell the truth on the fact that this country was founded on armed robbery, murder, rape, kidnapping, and some more stuff. But I digress. Let's keep this about football. So, Washington is going to change the name. Madden has dropped the logo as well. So that's why Daniel Snyder finally agreed to change the name, but he got some bigger problems. When you talk about 15 women that have come and said they have complaints about sexual harassment from the years of 2006 to 2019, what the hell is going on in the nation capital when it comes to football? I mean, it's bad enough that you stunk for the better part of 30 years. But now you're going to sit there and be sexually harassing people to have a chaotic work environment? Bruh, really? Like, I don't get it. I mean, look, Daniel Snyder bought this team when he was 34 years old. Bought this team in 1999. They actually went to the playoffs that year. They won the NFC East, went to the playoffs, won a playoff game. Should have beaten the Bucks in the second round of those playoffs, but that's neither here nor there. And he's owned the team for going on for now 21 years, and they just haven't been good. I mean, they've been relevant because they've went to the playoffs a few times. They went the first year he got the team in '99. He was able to lure Joe Gibbs out of retirement, away from NASCAR, so he could coach the team. From 2004 to 2007, they went to the playoffs 2 times during his 4 years back, which was 05 and 07. Went to the playoffs with RG3 in 2012, and then went again with Kirk Cousins in 2015. So, I mean, in 21 years, he's gone to the playoffs. What was it, 99, 05, 07, 12? He's gone and 5 times, like basically he averages the Redskins have averaged a playoff appearance once every 5 years with him as an owner. I mean, I guess that's not bad considering the fact that there have been franchises that's been a whole lot worse. Considering the fact that there has been a playoff win sprinkled here and there in during those 5 playoff appearances. They won a game in 99. They won a game in 05. They won a game in 20. They won a game. No, hold on. I'm thinking about it. They won a game in 99. They won a game in 05. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, more playoff wins than the Bengals and the Lions and the Browns. So, I mean, but all in all, there's been no consistency. Washington has just, I get on Dallas a lot because Dallas hasn't done shit in 25 years, and they're the most overhyped, talked about, god-awful pieces of crap in the sport of professional football. I mean, but the Redskins don't garner that much media attention. Excuse me, Washington doesn't garner that much attention. But you know, he's trying to say all the right things now, because I think he may be a little fearful that he may get booted out of the billionaire ownership boys club that is the NFL owners, just like the Carolina Panthers owner Jerry Richardson was a couple years ago. Because what we've been hearing is things have just been totally out of control in Washington. And that's crazy. And also in NFL news, you know, there were definite gripes between the NFLPA and the owners about, you know, the safety measures in regards to COVID-19, because there are a lot of there's some states that actually, there's some teams that actually believe that they'll have fans in the stadium in attendance this season. And, you know, some of the players are pretty much saying that that's irresponsible. You know, they don't have a bubble like the NBA. I gave an idea for a bubble a couple of shows ago, which I thought was actually brilliant, not just because it came from me, but I remember I gave the idea that each division should have one stadium that they go play in. So essentially what you're having is not necessarily one big bubble like the NBA, but you're having 8 stations, 8 bubbles, where you could definitely cut the travel of the league by a lot if you did it that way.
Hello?
The city of Philadelphia has already said no fans. You know, if you're going to play at the Link, ain't nobody going to be in attendance. Period. End of story. I don't think there should be fans in Texas, Texas, Florida, or California. Any state that's had a huge spike in numbers, there doesn't need to be fans there. I mean, like, straight up. And players, you know, they want to make sure that they're safe. I mean, they're going to pretty much, the NFL is looking to do things pretty much business as usual. And some of these players ain't cool with it. Drew Brees spoke out. Aaron Donald spoke out. Russell Wilson spoke out. Understandably so. Understandably so. And then they had the gripe about preseason. You know, they didn't want to play any preseason games. I can understand that for this season, because we're going through the pandemic and you want to have as little meaning. You don't want to have any meaningless games. So I understand that. But the players have had a gripe about preseason for years, and I just have never agreed with that, because, for one, on the football side of things, it gives you a chance to build some camaraderie, cohesiveness on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And 2, it's hard to, it's hard to just be practicing with your teammates on the park or on the beach, and then maybe practice against, full team practices, pads, whatever. But to go from 0 to 100, no preseason games, just practices, maybe offense and defensive scrimmages, then to go 0 to 100 to week 1 of the NFL season, players are going to get hurt, man, because their body is not ready. I think they at least need 2 preseason games to acclimate their bodies to the true full contact nature of professional football. This is why so many key players get hurt so early. This is why you can generally see bad football the first 4 weeks of the season. God damn it! But I understand this season, because you want to have as little or no meaningless games, because the players are the ones, taking the biggest risk. Coronavirus! They're the ones taking the biggest risk. So I get that. On a fun note, T.O. raced Tyreek Hill yesterday.
Set, go! a different.
437 on Tyreek.
4 what?
437.
437. Tyreek 437.
It was a smidge jump.
Yeah. You were probably
437 with Tyreek.
442.
He was what? About the
442.
Hey,
Yeah.
4-4.
I'm in that 4-4 range.
Yeah.
Chad,
437, bro.
I'm that dog.
That's
You gonna be my agent?
46 years old.
Okay.
That's pretty damn.
Yeah, you got on just a smidge. Just a smidge.
He probably caught you at the 15-20. Y'all was like, y'all coming out the 40. Y'all was like head to
Yeah,
head.
he got on just a smidge. He got on me just a smidge.
It's power.
I ain't no joke, man.
Respect,
Like-
respect.
You saying respect. You better show respect, Tyreek Hill. That's a legend. That's a top 3 wide receiver of all time. That's amazing. 46 years old, running a 4.42. You know, just a step and a half behind maybe the fastest wide receiver in the league. I mean, that is amazing. And afterwards, he, kind of said, "Hey, Andy Reid, if you get in trouble, you know me. You know where I'm at. Still trying to, get back on the NFL team, and I believe he deserves to be on the NFL team even now because, for one, now look, wouldn't get caught up in the moment of thinking you're going to see the T.O. from back in the early 2000s, with the Niners and the Eagles, or even the mid to late 2000s T.O. with the Cowboys. 46 years old is 46 years old. But a 4.42 is a 4.42 as well. And one thing I don't think T.O. ever got the chance to do was retire on his own terms, was to go out on his own terms. Jerry Rice, well, I'm not going to say he necessarily went out on his own terms. He was actually a Denver Bronco who would have been a 4th receiver, and he didn't want to do that because, you're not guaranteed to dress every game if you're a 4th wide receiver. So that's when he decided to call it quits. Randy Moss went out on his own terms. I think T.O. should have gotten a chance to go out on his own terms. I mean, even when he had the preseason with Seattle in 2012, he still was getting separation from the defenders. Dropped the pass from Matt Flynn. I remember that in the end zone against my Broncos, but some people are just physical freaks. Like I said, would I expect T.O. if he was to get signed to an NFL team today at 46 years old, would I expect him to go out there and put up 1,300 yards? No. Do I think he could start for a team in the NFL at 46 years old? Yeah. Do I think he would be a better 3rd receiver option at 46 years old? Yeah. Because one, you would have to pay attention to him. You would have to pay attention to him because he can still get separation. Do I think he could go out and get about anywhere between 500 and 700 yards with about 6 or 7 touchdowns as a 3rd receiver or even a 2nd receiver? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a very watered down NFL when it comes to physicality. So if this was the NFL of 20 years ago when T.O. was in his prime, no, I wouldn't say that. No. When T.O. really started making his mark in the league was really the 1997 season when Jerry Rice tore his ACL week 1 of the season. And T.O., that's when he busted out. Do I think he could make it at 46 by 97 standard rules? No. But by 2020 rules, absolutely. T.O. could definitely put together a 500 to 700 yard season with about 5 or 6 touchdowns. Absolutely. And I think, he's one of the greatest wide receivers ever. And personal feelings towards this man is one, why he hasn't gotten a chance to get on another team. And 2, why he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. That always raked my nerves because how are you going to have Randy Moss be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which he deserved, but not have Terrell Owens? T.O. was on most occasions in games that he played in, he was the best football player on the field. Period. End of subject. Anybody who wants to say anything different, I got this for you.
Shut up.
Well, T.O. has been a distraction, a locker room cancer.
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga.
Well, we just think that Terrell Owens is just too old right now.
Shut the fuck, shut. Did I say, no? Oh, shit. Say it again. Say something else. Oh, say something else. Say something else, nigga.
You got little pinkies, knuckle. Oh, but for real. Nah, man. Hey, man, somebody get T.O. a shot. Let him finish. You know, not even a sympathy shot, because you obviously see the dude can play. At least bring him in for a tryout. If he can't fit the bill, I guarantee you he's better than he's probably better than about 50% of the 50% still of the receivers that's in the league now. But anyway, moving on away from the NF or the L, I want to discuss some basketball real quick. Some of the NB or the A. You know, they've been asking a question, and by the way, again, the NBA starts next week, July 30th. Next Thursday, Clippers and the Lakers, and there's another game on, but who cares? But anyway, they were asking a question because now the MVP is going to be judged based on what happened in the what happened prior to the stoppage because of the coronavirus. And, you know, they're asking, hey, LeBron, what do you think? Do you think, do you like that? And, LeBron basically said, I can't control it. I'm all right with it. But and honestly, when the stoppage came, LeBron was balling. I mean, the Lakers had just beat the Bucks and the Clippers. But I'm going to be honest with you. If you were to ask me who was a better player, I would have to say right now, I still have to say LeBron is better than Giannis. But if you were to ask me who's more valuable to the team, to this year's team, not past accomplishments, I would have to go with Giannis. And we all know that I've never been the biggest LeBron fan. I haven't really been a LeBron fan at all. I really am becoming a fan of his activism off of the basketball court. I really am becoming a big fan of that. He is a Laker. I'm a lifelong Lakers fan. So, I mean, I guess. But, I mean, just to be real. Now, like I said, LeBron was trending on the arrow pointed north when the season came to a halt. And Giannis had actually gotten a knee injury in the game against the Lakers, which thank goodness he's now back at full strength. I mean, when you get a whole, what amounted to an off season to recover, you should be at full strength, unless it was a serious knee injury. And we all thank God that it wasn't. But I'm just going to say this, I was watching ESPN and I can't listen to Kendrick Perkins talk about LeBron. No shade to Kendrick Perkins, but he's not objective because LeBron is his boy. They've been known each other since AAU and this, that, and the third. Kendrick Perkins is not objective when it comes to LeBron. He can do no wrong. There's nobody on God's green earth that is as good as LeBron. I mean, but that's his boy. He's loyal. Good for him. But I'm going to keep it simple. And it all, to me, revolves around the off season. Because the Milwaukee Bucks lost one of the better two-way players in the league in Malcolm Brogdon, a potential all-star. I'm going to tell you something. If Malcolm Brogdon was playing in LA, or if he was playing in New York, or even if he was playing in Miami, Malcolm Brogdon would be an all-star. But he left Milwaukee to go to Indiana. He went from one small town media frenzy to another small town media frenzy. So to me, that was a big loss because to me, Malcolm Brogdon was the Bucks' third best player behind Giannis and Chris Middleton. And really, honestly, just maybe one step behind Middleton. I think Brogdon is all-star caliber. And you lost him. You didn't really replace him. And on the other end, the Lakers got an MVP candidate, a top 5 player during the offseason in Anthony Davis. So it's more or less compare and contrast. The Milwaukee Bucks lost a very good player, and the Lakers gained a top 5 player in basketball in the world. And the Milwaukee Bucks still have the best record in the league. When the All-Star break was over with, 70 wins was realistic for the Milwaukee Bucks. So, and their team is built around Giannis. So how could I not say that Giannis isn't more valuable to the Lakers? To Milwaukee than LeBron is to the Lakers. With the team that was put together, and I gave, I gave the Lakers credit. I gave Rob Pelinka credit for the roster that he put together, particularly after Kawhi Leonard said, hell no, I won't go to purple and gold. I will go to the redheaded step sister, which is the Los Angeles Clippers. No problem with that. I didn't want to see him be a Laker because I thought that would be really too unfair. So, but after that, Rob Pelinka did a very good job putting together the roster. He went out and got Avery Bradley. He got Boogie Cousins, who ended up getting hurt, and you replaced him. You took a chance on Dwight Howard, and Dwight Howard has definitely paid off, during the season. Now you've acquired Deion Waiters. You acquired J.R. Smith to replace Avery Bradley. You just did lose Rondo, and I think that's bigger than some people realize. God damn! But I believe if you take LeBron, if you take LeBron off the Lakers, what you have is the Pelicans from 2 years ago that went to the second round of the playoffs. That's pretty much what you have. If you take Giannis off the Bucks, they're fighting for an 8th spot. Maybe because they have good coaching, and I feel that way about the Denver Nuggets too. Maybe in the East, possibly as high as 6. I know the West is tougher. I know that, I know the West is significantly tougher. It's tough though, because like I said, that's tough, and that's almost an even fight right there, those comparisons. But to me, it all rests on the offseason. The Bucks lose Brogdon, the Lakers gain Anthony Davis, and the Bucks have been better than they were last year. So I have to go with Giannis. I heard about that with the Denver Nuggets as well. Who's the more valuable player, Nikola Jokic or Jamal Murray? I don't know if y'all have seen the Joker, but he done trimmed off about 40 pounds. I don't know what kind of crack he was smoking to lose 40 pounds that quick, but he looks like a whole different human being. I'm dead ass serious. To me, the most important player to me is the Joker, because you run the offense through him. If you take Jamal Murray off of the Nuggets, Denver, I think, was a 3rd seed behind the Lakers and Clippers, if I'm not mistaken. If you take Jamal Murray off the Nuggets, Denver's maybe about a 5th seed. If you take Jokic off the Nuggets, because they have good coaching. They have good coaching. If you take Jokic off the Nuggets, they would be good enough to be right around where the Grizzlies are at. Maybe a 7th seed. So it's tough, but the NBA is about to start up. But we've had some players that have been leaving the bubble for personal reasons. Zion had to leave. And I know the NBA is holding their breath, because the whole reason, like I said, make no mistake about it, the whole reason they having this 22-team thing is to try to find some way to get the Pelicans. Trust me, Adam Silver is rooting for the Pelicans to finish strong with these 8 regular season games. He wants them in the playoffs. He wants a first-round matchup of the Lakers versus the Pelicans. Zion versus LeBron and all of the former Lakers that now is with New Orleans. He wants that. He definitely wants that. Make no mistake about it. That's why things are constructed this way, because if you could have easily said, okay, we're going to restart the season with just the teams that were in the playoff positions when the league had to shut down. You could have easily done that. And I don't think nobody would have argued about it. But you want to see Zion in the playoffs, because the teams who are right on the outside looking in the East, nobody cares about them. I'm just being real. Nobody gives a damn, to be honest. So that is, NBA's heating up, man. The NBA is heating up. And it hasn't even tipped off yet, but that's cool. Like I said, baseball tips off tomorrow. I don't care. I was hearing something today about Mike Trout. You know, Mike Trout is so head and shoulders the best baseball player. You know, who is the distant second behind Mike Trout? Let me tell you something about Mike Trout. And this is just my personal opinion.
Oh, your fat ass don't come on my house no more.
I don't pay no attention to Mike Trout. I've looked at his stats. His stats are amazing. But you know why I don't care? I don't pay any attention to Mike Trout. You know why Mike Trout's value is nothing to me? And people may say I sound insane for saying this. Well, just saying that his value is nothing. Because I don't see Mike Trout playing in October. And to me, that's when baseball, that's when you get your money. I don't ever see Mike Trout playing in October. I don't. I've seen Aaron Judge, who has been in the league just a couple of years, playing more in October than I have Mike Trout his entire career. So he's head over heels the best baseball player. He may be the greatest baseball player ever. To who? To who? Where that jewelry at, bruh? Where that jewelry at, motherfucker? Huh? That's what I'm saying. Like, if Mike Trout was to walk past me right now, I wouldn't know who the hell he is. For real. If Aaron Judge walked by me, I know him. Okay? I do. If Clayton Kershaw walked by me, I know him. I know that guy. I'm familiar with him. You know, if the Upton boys walk by me, I know who they are. Okay? If Verlander walked by me, yeah, I know you. If Jarrett Cole walked by me, I know you. You know, I don't see Mike Trout when it counts. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So we are getting back into it. You know, we really are. So with that being said, where the buzzer? Hey y'all, Kanye West is still talking about running for president.
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga.
I'm sorry. I had to do that one more time. But, I mean, come on, man. Come on. In a time where we don't need anything taken away. We don't need any potential votes taken away from Mr. Joe Biden. We really don't. We don't. So, Kanye, I don't know if it's bipolar, whatever. You know, now, I mean, it seemed like he got more stuff to worry about, too, because it sounded like he trying to trash his marriage now with Kim Kardashian. And, I mean, that's crazy. That is what it is. But that's that Hollywood shit, man. I mean, I don't know. Dave Chappelle just went to see him in the hospital or whatever. I don't know. But, you know, leave president and your name out of your mouth and everybody else's mouth. For real, bruh. I mean, for real. I mean, we have enough issues with these dodo dickheads in high places, like the governor of Missouri, who's talking about, you know, kids, it's time for them to go back to school. If they catch the coronavirus, which they will, they'll just go home and deal with it. I heard that this morning. I'm like, what kind of shit is that? Like, okay, what if the kids do contract coronavirus and then take it home and give it to their parents and they have weak immune systems? Or what if they live with grandparents? Like, come on, bruh. Like, come on, let's stop the nonsense, man. You know, school needs to start virtually for at least the first semester. When second semester comes, hopefully we'll have a new president. We can revisit it then. You dig? I mean, for real. Let's be objective about this. There's some people who are just being, you know, and I'm not, you know, to me the politically correct, oversensitive way of this society makes me want to throw up. But I mean, goodness gracious, we're talking about a virus that's killing people. And y'all know how I felt about this old punk ass virus. I'm sick and tired of it. And, but the irresponsible nature of this country is why we're still dealing with this and why the numbers are going up. Because there are people who just want to throw caution to the wind and still have this attitude of, we're America and we're going to do what we want to do, pandemic virus or not. The coronavirus don't give a damn what country it's in. It really don't. So I'm like, come on, man. That's what I said last show. Ignorance, arrogance. what I heard from the governor of Missouri, ignorance and arrogance, straight up. And it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. How can you not think this is a plot when there are people in the government who are acting so blatantly dumb? Honestly, how? I mean, real talk. How can you not think for 1 second that this isn't a plotted, planned shit that's going on when you have the highest officials in the nation acting stupid? You know, just it can boggle your mind. You know, it can boggle your mind. It really can. It honestly really can. And, you know, with that being said, it is your boy, Brandon Brevon Towns. This has been another episode of Sports Plus Life. If you have not subscribed yet, definitely hit that subscription button. Don't hesitate to leave me a comment. And I will get back at you personally if you leave a comment. And I holler back at y'all. I'm out this beer. Peace.